Our next speaker today demonstrates a proactive approach to community engagement and social change. Trina Perry is the owner of Life is Tea and Human Resource Onboarding Specialist for Worldwide Technology. As we will hear today, she's passionate about impacting communities and seeking out opportunities to empower individuals. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Trina Perry.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. Can everybody hear me? Yes. Okay, awesome. Well, hello. My name is Trina Perry, but everyone can call me T, and that's T-E-E. I am really excited to be here today because I have the opportunity to give you an overview of someone who is just starting out in the entrepreneurship. So I'm just starting my business. And when I say just, I'm talking like fall, winter last year. So I am the owner of Life with Tea, and I have created 3 different journals that I sell on Amazon. And I'm also a YouTube blogger, and my YouTube channel basically specializes in travel, okay? But before we get into that, I am going to start off telling you my vision of myself from the beginning. And I shouldn't say beginning of time, but the beginning, so when I was younger. And then we're gonna go into what I did in college here at Missouri Valley College. I graduated in 2013 from here. And then we'll talk about what I did after graduation, and then where I am now, and then where I see myself in the future. But also to say, I am originally from St. Louis, Missouri. Is anybody from St. Louis in here? Okay, well, I was gonna share that I went to Hazelwood Central High School, but since no one is from St. Louis, we won't worry about that. But we'll go ahead and jump into it. So like I said, I wanted to talk about like my dream. That's the first thing I want to talk about. So before 2009, and I did have, a dream when I was younger, and then, I don't know, maybe about high school, I really wanted to kind of get into that dream a little bit more, and I made a lot of different changes in life. I went a lot of different directions. So I also want to cover some of the things that I have learned throughout each stage in my life. So our learnings that we're going to talk about, even to this day, I'm still not saying that I'm learning, but there are still some avenues that I'm learning. But I'm still trying to make sure I use. So you'll see a lot of leadership roles. There were a lot of times, and I'm still doing this, building relationships. And then also being the change that I want to see. That's a very big one. Taking charge, being fearless, and always taking the initiative. But whenever you see this lovely lady, I don't know her. This is a person I found, like a photo on PowerPoint. But when you see her, I want everybody to yell out message, okay? Now, when you yell out message, I want personality. I want some spunk behind it. So we're gonna give it a try. Is everybody willing to give it a try? Yes. I only heard a couple yeses. Okay, all right. So on the count of 3, I want you to yell out message, all right? Remember, personality. 1, 2, 3. Message. That's what I'm talking about. I love it. Thank you, thank you. So every time you see this woman here, yell out message. I don't care if I'm just starting to talk, yell it out, okay? So my dream. So again, I don't know this lady, but how she looks is how I always envision myself. So I saw myself as a woman in like a business suit. She has her heels on, purse to match, and she's taking a taxi cab to work or personal driver. I do not have a personal driver. I am my personal driver. But this is how I saw myself when I was younger. This is where I wanted to be when I was an adult. And at first, I wanted to be a fashion designer. Now, I want to show you all some of my wonderful designs. Do not laugh. But these designs were 2006, 2007. I'm going to come around. I should have put it on the screen, but that's okay. Again, these are 2006, 2007. So, it's not the best. It's not like the now thing, but this is what I wanted to do when I was younger. And then I changed my mind. I wanted to do fashion merchandising. Now, when you think of fashion merchandising, It's putting clothes on mannequins. It's, setting up the storefront of any store. There's more to it, as I know now, but back then that's what I saw myself. And I saw myself as a business owner. But things change. So I came to Missouri Valley College in 2009. That girl in the middle, that's me, if you can't tell. This picture was taken on my first day when my parents dropped me off, just saying. And I started in 2009, and my major at first was marketing. Now, I did change my major. I did not tell my parents until after the fact. But marketing major, why did I change it? So I saw the courses that I had to take as a marketing major. This included accounting. I told myself, I am not that math girl, so I'm just going to switch in just to get out of it. That's really just the honest truth. And I switched over to public relations. Now, I do want to give a very simple definition of PR, and then we'll also talk about all the things that I was involved in while I was here at Valley. So PR, the basics of the basics, I'm going to give you guys. So PR is under that small umbrella of communications, and communications is under that bigger umbrella of marketing. But PR, you're building relationships and you're always creating a positive image for any business. A business can be a person, it could be an organization, anything like that. Now, some of the things that I did while I was here. I was on the dance team my freshman year. I didn't hear everybody. Let's try it again. All right. So, a lot of the things that I did while I was here. Leadership roles, taking the initiative, being the change, and building relationships. So, again, I said I was on the dance team my first year, freshman year. I was on the track and field team all 4 years. My events were long and triple jump, and there were times where the coach put me in 800, he threw me in the 4x8, he had me do hurdles, but it was never a time where I said, I'm not. Now, if he said he wanted me to do a 400, that would have been the time I said I'm not doing it, but that never happened. But every time he, pushed me and encouraged me to do something, I did it. I did not scare away from it. Now, I'm just going to add this in here. A couple of days ago, before I came here, I wanted to see if there was any records that I was still, a part of on the track team. And I did look it up. I still have a record here on the 4x8 team for indoor. That record was set in 2012. But, again, I was also with track and field, I was also captain junior and senior year. So there goes that leadership role there. I was a part of the Student Government Association in 2010, all the way up into 2013 when I graduated. And then I also chartered a chapter here of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated on March 23rd, 2013. Now let me give a little story behind that. So charting a chapter, basically you are starting a new chapter of a sorority or fraternity. It has never existed. So that's basically what chartering is. Now, initially, I wanted to be a part of this organization. So I traveled to Columbia to try to be a part of their chapter there at Mizzou. Well, just as everything was about to start for me, I got a call saying, hey, Trina, I'm sorry, we can't have you be a part of this chapter because you're just too far. Okay, I cried. Trust me, I cried. I was very sad about that. But I took the time and I took the initiative to see what else can I do. There has to be a way. So I did research and I found out that you can charter a chapter. And with that, you also have to have a sponsoring chapter you have to have a sponsoring chapter oversee an undergraduate chapter. So I went to our Dean of Students at that time, and I'm sorry, I skipped over something. Let's go back. Black Student Union. Me and another counterpart, that was in 2010, me and another counterpart had basically got the Black Student Union back started on campus. I was the vice president my whole entire time being that. And with that, I also had to talk to the dean of students to get him to see, you know, the reason behind of us wanting to start that. Again, so 2010, he heard from me, had to go back to our dean of students at the time, and I think it was about 2011 at that point, to talk to him about charting a chapter to get the okay. I got the okay. I reached out to other graduate chapters that was in the Marshall area. So it was Kansas City, St. Louis, Columbia, and Jeff City. And I got a lot of no's, to be honest with you. A lot of people told me, I'm sorry, we don't have the room or the ability to sponsor an undergraduate chapter. And I said, okay, but I got one yes. Sometimes all you need is one. So there was a graduate chapter in St. Louis, Missouri that were willing to sponsor an undergraduate chapter. So when I got that yes, I tried to basically organize a time and a place for them to come to Marshall, be able to give an informational meeting. So informational meeting meaning that they come here and they give out information about the sorority to students. So I had to build relationships there, continue building relationships with the dean of students, and then I had to go out on campus. I used the flyer that they provided me, go out on campus, tell people like, hey, you know, do you want to learn about, you know, this sorority? That was a little crazy, but I did it. Not only that, we have the informational, and unfortunately, due to the requirements that you need to actually join the sorority, we didn't have it at that moment in time. So it took some years, and in 2013, we finally were able to charter that chapter. And these are the other four, let me use the razor here. These other four ladies here also chartered that chapter with me. But what did I do after? After graduating from Missouri Valley College, I definitely did a lot of different things. I worked full time. We'll talk about everything I did there. And then I also started a fashion blog. So moved back to St. Louis. My first job was a teacher assistant for the special school district of St. Louis. And honestly, it is a small school district, but they have their own elementary, middle school, high school. But not only that, they also outsource teachers and other teacher assistants to other school districts within St. Louis. And I was located at Rittner School District at Rittner Middle School. So that was 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. But remember that, you know, I wanted to get into fashion. That was like my ultimate dream. And now I'm back here in St. Louis. How can I do that? How can I incorporate fashion into just me being a teacher assistant in St. Louis? Well, I told myself that I didn't want to live the life of shoulda, woulda, coulda. Now, this is something that my dad always tells me. Now, I don't want to live the life of I should have. I don't want to live the life of I could have. And I didn't want to live the life of I said that backwards, didn't I? I didn't want to live the life of should have, would have, or could have. All of this is past tense. I want to make sure that any dream, any goal that I had, I wanted to live it, or I wanted to make sure that I accomplished it. That's it. All right. So I started my own fashion blog. The name of that fashion blog was Fashionably Expressed. This was honestly the start of, you know, a business for me. But one of the reasons why I wanted to start this fashion blog is because St. Louis is not like a known place for fashion. We know that. But I will say, if you do your research, back in the day, and I'm talking like when photos were like black and white, St. Louis is or was a big fashion hub for the footwear industry. We'll get into that a little bit later. But my fashion blog, I knew that there were people in St. Louis or the St. Louis area that were in or ingrained in fashion. There were fashion designers, there were models, there were people just in the entertainment industry. And I wanted to make sure that other people knew about the people who worked in this lifestyle in St. Louis. So I decided to go out, build relationships with these people, get to know them, their story, their business, and write about it. I want to know, tell me your idea. Tell me where you see your business going. When I wrote about it, I put it on my blog. Uh-oh. You see here, this is kind of what it looked like when I put it on my blog. But with that, I also went to different fashion shows in the Kansas City and St. Louis area. And I wrote about those as well. So I wrote about the whole entire fashion show. I wrote about the designers. I wrote about the models. I bought myself an entire, like, really nice camera, very expensive. And I went to these fashion shows and took my own photos. These photos were done by me. And I wrote about it. I put it out on my social media because I built relationships and I created a positive image for business owners. I'm using my PR degree. So in 2016, I think I skipped a page here. I'm just saying, yeah, I used my PR degree. So in 2016, I decided, I know I have this blog. I'm still working as a teacher assistant in education, but I need more. I feel it in my gut that I still need more. So I decided to move to New York. My parents were not happy. At first, I wanted to go to California, and they were like, Trina, no, that's just too far. We can't get to you if something happens to you. And I'm like, okay, but I'm still leaving. And then I decided on New York. They still were not happy, but that was my final decision. At this point, I'm an adult, okay? You can't tell me what to do. But I moved to, thank you. I moved to New York to go to graduate school. So message here. I took the initiative, I built relationships, I was the change that I had to be, and then also I had to be fearless. So, girl from St. Louis. I mean, we know St. Louis is kind of like I don't always want to call it like a big city, but like a medium to big city. And going to New York is a huge city, so many people. I knew nobody. When I say nobody, nobody. My mom moved me up to New York. She was there for 2 days. She dipped, okay? So I had to be fearless. Now, there was a lot of excitement, but I was still scared. I knew no one. I didn't know how to get around. I had to learn this all on my own, which is a huge step. Now, I went to LIM College. LIM stands for Laboratory Institute of Merchandising. I think everyone can be happy that they trimmed that down to just LIM. That would be a long name for any college. But I received my Master's of Professional Studies in Fashion Marketing. Here we are, back to marketing. But in 2017, it was a one-year program, and when I say it was like semester after semester, there were no breaks. So one-year program, I had to move back home, and to be very open and transparent, New York is very, very expensive. So I didn't have the money to stay, and I couldn't get a roommate in time in order to stay. So I moved back home to St. Louis. Now, with me moving back home to St. Louis, I knew that there was a major company here, well, not here, but in St. Louis. Now, come on, everybody. Give it to me one more time. All right. So message here, building relationships and taking the initiative. So when I moved back home, I knew that there was a major, major company in St. Louis, especially in the footwear industry. Today it is known by Caleres Incorporated, but back then when I said it was like black and white photos, they were known as the Brown Shoe Company. So they are still a huge company, a global footwear company, and I was able to get my foot in the door in 2018. So remember, I graduated in 2013. It took me a year to get into this company, but that's okay. So my first job, I started off as an intern, but my title was a sample coordinator for the marketing team for the brand of Allen Edmonds. So Allen Edmonds is a men's footwear brand, and they are known for having premium leather shoes. And they're also known for being made in the United States. While I was there, basically, I was organizing all the time, organizing our sample closet, And any time that we had photo shoots that was either in St. Louis or outside of St. Louis, I was in charge of making sure that they got the shoes that they needed. From there, after 3 months, I went on to a brand by the name of Beezy's. So Beezy's is a women's footwear brand. They are known for stretch, comfort, and machine washable shoes. Now, this is definitely not marketing. I was on their product development team, so as a product coordinator. And product development is basically creating something from the ground up. So I had the opportunity to design shoes by sketching it out. I had the opportunity to do a lot of research in regards to color, different patterns, different textures, different everything, to be honest with you. But there were times where my manager pushed me into the direction of really understanding what product development is. There were a lot of times we had to work with our team that was over in China. We had to tell them the type of material we wanted, the type of base shoe that we wanted. So I'm not gonna take my shoe off, but the bottom part of the shoe that you're like standing on all day, we had to tell them the type of shoe caps we need for those shoes. And I had the opportunity to see from the beginning, from the design, all the way up until we have that shoe in our hand, which was an amazing time. But my manager knew I wanted to go into marketing, so I was there for a little over a year, and then I went to Famous Footwear. We all know Famous Footwear, but while I was at Famous Footwear, I was a marketing representative on their marketing team, and I was in charge of still all of our sample shoes, getting it to and from any photo shoot that we had in St. Louis or outside. But I also got to create like the coupon codes that you put in online, or you go into the store and give a card to the sales associate. But throughout all my time there, I had to build relationships. I had to build relationships to get to every single team that I was working on. But I also had to take the initiative a lot of times, because especially working for the brand Beezy's, I don't have a product development background. I know nothing about it, but I had to take the initiative to actually learn about it. But in 2020, I was furloughed. No one likes 2020. If anybody likes the year 2020, I don't know why, but please tell me. I would like to know. But year in 2020, I was furloughed. So basically, I was still employed by the company, but I was unable to work and get paid. So basically, they will bring me back in a few months or so, which they did. But when they brought me back to work, I wasn't fulfilled. I worked back on my job. I realized, I don't think I want to do this anymore. And then I took the time to look at the other marketing roles that were on the Famous Footwear team. And I told myself, I don't want to do this anymore either. I don't want to do any of those things. We also have a brand marketing team. I looked at those roles. I said, I don't want to do that either. So I took some time to really understand me as a person and try to figure out what's really next for myself. So, thank you. Building relationships and taking the initiative. So what I did was I left the company, crazy, right? Left the company and I went to a startup company. That startup company was by the name of Steady MD, again, startup company, and they are a telehealth company. So basically you're able to use their services and work with any type of physician, and you can do that in the comfort of your own home. And they also had physicians in all 50 states. But I started off as a recruiter. I was recruiting therapists. After 3 months, I realized recruiting is not for me. And I moved over to the HR operations, but here we call it people operations. So I moved to the people operations team as a people operations associate. And there were only 4 of us. So all of us had our hands in all things HR. And then I'll say, honestly, 3, because we had a full-time recruiter, so he didn't really manage operations. But eventually, I got my way into focusing on onboarding. So onboarding is when you are helping out any new hire that's coming into the company or organization. you're making sure that they have everything that they need, everything set up, all paperwork is done in order for them to start on their first day. And when I started focusing on that, I pretty much fell in love with it. I was good at it. Now, again, with bringing on new employees, you're building relationships. You also have to take the initiative I took the initiative to learn all things people operations, HR operations. But then the company downsized and I was laid off, unfortunately. But after about 2 months, it was all good. Message, yes. Building relationships and taking the initiative. So Worldwide Technology is where I work full-time today. I am an onboarding specialist, and we are a global IT company. So basically, they, give solutions, or IT solutions to other businesses, other companies, other organizations. And for example, AI is really, really big, and we help out other organizations and companies on their AI initiatives. But one of the biggest reasons why I really love this company is because how they treat people, how they treat their people. And I noticed this while I was doing research about the company before I even started there. And when I got into the role, and I've been with them almost 2 years now, I see that it is true how they treat their people, people stay. And let me kind of give you like a full cycle of how this goes. So you have a great company, right? And then you have a company who has great people. If you have a company with great people, you make sure you treat them right. When you treat them right, they stay and they do great work. When they stay and do great work, your business continues to grow and do amazing things. So again, it brings you back to having a great company. With that cycle, that's definitely the reason why I'm staying. But also, it just says a lot about companies because, sometimes when you work for a place, you can tell that they don't always care about their people. But one thing that I want to note here is that I do love Missouri Valley College. I did a lot here, and I know that they are great students. You all are great. I know you are. And they're great students, and people don't always know about MVC. So I'm going to tell you when I realized the problem. I went to our team at WWT who manages internships, and I said, hey, have you ever heard of Missouri Valley College? And she was like, no, I haven't. Where are they? And I'm like, well, that's the school I went to, and I'm great. So I was like, you know what, how about this? I want you to give me information about the internships. And I told her I was coming here today. Now, our internships are full-time in the summer, paid. They are virtual and also in person. Now, if you do want information about our internships, please find me afterwards. I have flyers. But my thing is, I want to put Missouri Valley on the map. I want people to know about the quality of people that come from Missouri Valley College because I know it's great. And I know that with me having an amazing time here, I have grown here. Missouri Valley College has definitely helped me grow in many different ways. And if it has helped me, I know it has helped other people. So I just want to put that out there. Now let's get into what am I doing now? My business. Thank you. So building relationships, taking the initiative, being the change. So currently I am an author. I have 3 journals that I sell on Amazon. Everything is under the name of Life with T. And then I'm also a YouTube vlogger. I literally have my camera up now. And my YouTube vlog caters to all things travel. But to get into a little bit more about that, so my YouTube vlog, there's 2 pillars to this. One is I'm focusing on things to do in St. Louis. The reason being, a lot of people, for some reason, they come to St. Louis and they're like, there's nothing to do here, it's boring. Actually, it's not. It's not boring. There's so much to do in St. Louis and a lot of free things to do in St. Louis. Lots of free things. So I want to put St. Louis on the map. The other part is just my outside travels of St. Louis. So I'm talking maybe if I want to, even if it was Kansas City, I want to go to Kansas City, I want to go to Cancun. I'm creating those vlogs because I know that there are people who want to also go to these places, but they don't know what to do there. They don't know where to stay. I am helping them, I'm assisting them to create all of their travel needs. I also started this in 2020. I didn't really start traveling until 2021, and I'm sure everybody knows why. But some of the places I've already been to, so on the far left-hand side, so I've been to Cancun, Philadelphia, the Bahamas, Aruba, Chicago, Jamaica, and some of the places that are on my bucket list for this year and ongoing. This year, bless you. This year, I'm going to Punta Cana, and then I'm going to Pittsburgh. And then what's on my bucket list, the bigger trips. So Bali, Rio, Cuba, Hawaii, those are places that I want to go, and I am already in the process of planning those out. But let's talk about the three journals that I have. So I have the bucket list travel journal, all the things that I didn't say daily journal, and then I have the Rich Auntie Cookbook Journal. But what really inspired me to create these? So I got married last year, and with married life, things change. And they change for the good, the better, but things change. So I'm a new wife. I've never been a wife. There's lots of things that include being a wife. I'm a new stepmom, first-time stepmom. That's new. I've been a full-time employee. That's nothing new, but when you add that into the mix of all other things, it could be a lot sometimes. And then I'm also the planner of my family. If anybody wants something planned out, I'm talking travels or maybe just like a small weekend getaway, everybody comes to me. But my bucket list travel journal, let's talk about that one first. So again, I told you all I made these towards the end of last year in fall, winter. And this was the first version of that journal. The front and back look exactly the same how they are now. But the entire book is kind of like a scrap page. So you're planning out that bucket list location, that date that you would like to go. So maybe it's 2025, but that's what all the pages look like. I actually had a friend who bought one of these from me, and she said, Trina, I love what you've done here, but she gave me a tip. How can the tip was a question. How can someone truly plan out their entire vacation with just these pages? So I said, okay, well, thank you. And I took that tip and I revamped it. And when I say revamp, that revamp happened like towards the beginning of this year. So like I said, the front and the back are the same. But now, let me get to the page here. You still have that first page being that like scrap page. But then now you have a page where you can have your final plans. And when I'm talking final, I'm talking like the actual time that you get on the plane, the takeoff. I'm talking about the resort that you're staying at, what airline are you taking, all those good things. Now, you also have a full itinerary page. So, and that's for 8 days. Now, if you're going longer than 8 days, good for you. But this page is for 8 days. Write everything that you are doing. And then the last page is a packing list. You're not going to pack the same that you do for Cancun if you're going to Kansas City. It's just not going to be the same, right? So with this, for me, I use it because I forget things sometimes. With this, there's no way you can forget it. I mean, you can, but there's no way. But why did I make this journal? I personally like to write things down. When I write things down, they become real. I feel like it's something I can truly accomplish. It is pretty much ingrained in my brain once I write things down. Of course, I could have typed things up, I could put it in my phone, things like that, but if I put it on my phone, sometimes I might lose the notes. If I write it on the computer, I can't remember where the heck I even saved it. But when I write it down, now I have it all in one spot. There we go. Next journal. It is called All the Things I Didn't Say. Now, this was the first version. There's no way you can even tell on this first page what the heck this even is. Like, it's not clearly written out at all. And the pages in between are all blank, and there are some pages that, give some great words of encouragement. So this one says, be the best you. But with this, no one had to tell me that, Trina, this is not going to work. So I decided to revamp this first page. Not first page, but the front of this journal. And now it is all the things that I didn't say. The inside is literally the same. But why did I call it All the Things That I Didn't Say? Well, since I was a little girl, I literally still have them. I am a journal girl. I have always journaled about just a daily life thing for me. But I know that sometimes you just have to release it. You have to get it out. Either you're mad, you're sad, even when you're happy. Sometimes it's really best to release those feelings on paper. If you want to rip it up, throw it away, but now you have gotten it out. But usually when you're writing things down like that, it's the things that you just didn't say to anybody. So I know that's real simple, but that's why I titled it All the Things That I Did Not Say. And then we have the Rich Auntie Cookbook. Now, this is a journal for all of your recipes. And the front and the back are still the same to this day. But when I made this journal, I realized that when I was writing in it, I don't have enough space to write down all of my ingredients. I don't have enough space to write down the instructions for what I'm making. So that's a problem. So I revamped it. And let me show you what I revamped it to. Like I said, the front and back are exactly the same. But inside, now you have one page for all your ingredients and one page for all your instructions. But why did I title this journal the Rich Auntie Cookbook? Now, I am an aunt. I am very much so an aunt. I am not rich, but in my brain, I am that rich auntie. And honestly, not saying that my mom or my grandmother has good recipes, but me being a new mom, new stepmom and being a wife, I want to make sure I feed my family, but I want to have something of my own. So I look up recipes on TikTok, on YouTube, on what else we have? Instagram, and I find recipes. Sometimes I tweak it, but now I can write them in my own recipe book, and I have something to pass down. I also have something that I can always refer to. I don't have to, my mom actually has like a recipe catalog, but it's on cards. You have to dig through and find different recipes. I don't have to do that. Everything's in one place. It's on a bigger sheet. I can actually read things. So that is the reason behind creating this cookbook journal. Having a little trouble here. 1 second. Okay. So I know the question is, again, why write things down when we are in a digital age? Well, like I said, for me, writing down things creates reality for me. I'm able to memorize things a little bit better when I write them down. Honestly, you might hear this from your professors, I don't know, but it is true. Now, I did a little research, so I'm gonna read what studies have shown. Studies have shown that writing creates a relationship with information that we store in our brains. Studies have shown that it helps with retention. And then studies have shown that basically when you write things down, you encode it, you are able to analyze it. You create long-term memory, and then you're able to make those final decisions when necessary. So another question, why get into having your own business? Why get into entrepreneurship? Now, please remember, like I said, I am literally at the beginning stages. But when I did my fashion blog, I wanted to be the change that I didn't see. I didn't see anybody doing this, number one. But I also wanted other people to know within the world. Now, I don't know if it reached the world, but that was what I wanted. I wanted to reach the world to get out stories about people who are in St. Louis that were in the business, because I knew they weren't always heard. Why did I create these journals here? Well, because I know that these journals are helping me with this new stage of life that I'm in, a wife, a stepmom, the planner of the family. These help me organize my life so much. And if it's doing that for me, I'm sure it's doing that for other people in the world. Or other people may have something similar to me, and it's still helping them out. And my YouTube blog. To be very transparent, in the beginning, the reason why I did it was because I wanted to go back and see all of the things that I did do and just to relive that moment. But not only that, I am helping other people create their travel goals. So wherever you want to go to Aruba. Now you are able to visit my blogs, see where I went, how it looked, how much fun I had. If I had fun, what did I do to have the fun? Now you can see all of that, and now you can create your own travel plans. So what is next for me? What's next for T? So a lot of things that's next for me, I need to level up. And my level up is doing better in marketing in general. So marketing photos, marketing videos. And I also need to level up my social media presence. So there's a lot of different pillars with all three of those things, but just to kind of round it all together, I need to do a better job at marketing. What is next? Now, this has been on my mind. I haven't decided yet, but possibly becoming a travel agent. The other thing has nothing to do with what we talked about today, but for my wedding, I had designed all of the, I don't want to call it marketing, but all of the signage at my wedding, I created, me. And I actually enjoyed it. But in the back of my mind, I know for a fact that there are other brides who are getting married every single year that do not want to make any of their own signs. They don't want to make their own invitations. They just want to purchase it and then keep moving. I think that it would be a great idea to start selling my digital designs on Etsy and then see how that goes, and then I'll think about what's next after that. But again, like I said, that has nothing to do with what we talked about today, but that's a possibility of what is next for me. Now, to kind of go back through all my key takeaways that we talked about in the beginning. Leadership roles, building genuine relationships, being the change that you want to see, being fearless, taking charge, take the initiative. We talked about all of those, but here are some other things. Please never stop dreaming. I don't care how small it is, anything like that. Always try your best to accomplish any dream that you have had. It might take a year, it could take 5 years or 10, but always keep it in the back of your mind. You will not always have the answers. T, me, Trina, I do not always have the answers, but I know sometimes I need to just start. If you start, you can always find the answers. And the last thing is create your positive image for yourself, for your business. In the beginning, you're not going to have a whole PR team. You're not going to have a marketing team behind you. Not saying that you couldn't, but probably there's a possibility you might not. You have to be your positive image. That's in person when you're building relationships. That's your social media presence. Always create that positive image. And the last thing I definitely want to cover is to see if anyone has any questions. I'm opening that floor.
Anybody have any questions for Trina? Raise your hand if you do, please. We'll go over there.
Thank you for the presentation. That was wonderful. The amount of hustle that you do is really, really impressive.
Thank you.
And I know that, Lori also said she was working 90 hours, 100 hours a week. I'm sure that you're up there as well. Very important that for these guys to know that they will not be able to take those vacations if they go to Entrepreneur.
Right.
Right, for a little bit. But I was wondering if you can maybe tell us a little bit about the vlog and the income stream from that, and what is the kind of cutoff point, and I think they would maybe find that interesting, at what point the number of followers, et cetera, that you can see some income streams, and how does that work?
Yeah, I'll be very, very honest and transparent. Income from that vlog is at a 0 right now. But here's the thing. Again, I had told everyone that in the beginning, it was more so about just me reliving some of those things that I have done and places I've gone. And now it's more about, there's a shift there. So now it's about being able to, help other people with their travel needs. So I would say follow us right now, about almost 2. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done, to be honest. But that's really getting engaged, building relationships with other people that are in this business of travel, and then also just doing better, way better in marketing. Yeah.
Any other questions? If someone else has a question, hold your hands up here too. Yeah, I've got one there.
How do you like to differentiate between other people in the business, especially with their vlogs and the journals? Because I think there might be a lot of people trying to do that. So how do you think you're different?
How do I think I'm different? So with me being in the beginning stages, I'm still kind of at that research stage, I would say. But I know some people do it to make a whole bunch of money, and that's kind of what they're geared towards. And I feel like for me, I'm doing it by voicing what I'm going through, just giving a story about me and my ideas, giving a story of, like Lori said, giving the history behind it also makes me different, but also how can I assist you? I'm just about helping. The reason why I got into HR, I am a helper. I want to help you in whatever way I can. And that's kind of what makes me different at this point. Again, I'm at the beginning. So there's a lot that's going to change, and there's a lot for me that I'm going to realize that, okay, this is going to put me out and showcase how I am different from the other people who are honestly doing this exact same thing. So there's a lot of growing and a lot of growth that has to be done.
First of all, thank you thank you for being here today. So I'm Amanda with the Chamber of Commerce. I used to work here on this campus and I love it. From one writer to another, thank you for that. And how can we purchase your journal?
Yes, so I actually do have business cards. After everything is done today in that breakout session, I have business cards.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Can I ask a question? How do you manage the anxiousness and uncertainty of not always knowing what's going to happen, plus people around you maybe not being the biggest believers on you, or maybe doubting you, and the hesitation that we all get, not knowing what's the next step, where you're gonna land, changing paths, and just kind of jumping and taking that jump. How do you manage that?
That's an amazing question. I can't put my exact finger on it, but I've always been a person that when I see something I want to do, I'm like going full on speed, just do it. And that's my, I always tell myself, just take the first step. Just do it, try it, see how it goes. Now, again, I don't always have the answers, but I don't know how it's going to go. And sometimes I do, get in my own head, I don't think that was a good idea, or sometimes I don't know how this is going to go. Me personally, I always have good people around me who are really there to encourage me and that see so much more in me than sometimes I do. So therefore, I can always, not saying that you always have to lean on someone, but sometimes you do. Lean on those people who are really giving you that positive message and push you forward, because when that happens, we're human, we always get down, sometimes we think negatively. They are there to really kind of give you that final kick in the rear and be like, just get out there. So having those great people around me, and sometimes just jumping and trying it out, because I
All right, we want to thank Trina again. Give her a big hand. Thank you very much. Graduated in 13. And again, we'll have lunch afterward and breakout sessions. So if you have some more information or questions for Trina, that'd be a good time.